At the law school graduation party, I bankrolled $1,050 monthly and $6,000 every term. My wife pointed at me and told security, "He doesn't belong here." Her dad laughed. "You actually thought you were invited?" I didn't cause a scene. I just walked out and sent her one message. The music was loud, the lights were low, and the champagne was flowing like it was someone else's money on the tab. I stood at the entrance of the rooftop ballroom watching my wife, laugh with a crowd of her law school friends like I didn't exist. Her sleek red dress hugged her curves like it was made to remind me what I used to touch. And I funded this whole damn party. Every month for 3 years, I sent her $1,050 without fail. At the start of every term, another $6,000, all from my construction jobs, double shifts, scraped palms, and missed birthdays. And tonight, when I showed up wearing the same navy blazer she once said made me look like her future, the security guard at the door stopped me, said my name wasn't on the list. I chuckled. Must be a mistake. I'm her husband. He turned his head. I followed his eyes. And there she was, Vanessa, walking toward us like she was about to collect an award. Her heels clicked like a metronome of betrayal. Then she said it. "He doesn't belong here." 3 words, spit out like I was dirt on her Louboutin heels. The guard looked uncomfortable. "Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." I stared at her. "Are you serious?" Her eyes didn't blink. "You're making a scene. Just go. I'll talk to you later." And right behind her, arms crossed and smirking like the devil himself, stood her father, Ronald. The man who never thought I was good enough, who once told me his daughter needed a man with vision, not tools. He looked me dead in the face and laughed loud. "You really thought you were welcome?" I didn't say a word. My chest was burning, but I kept my lips sealed. I just pulled out my phone, and I texted her. "Congrats on your big night. I'll be out of the apartment by morning." I turned and walked out. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. But I swear the air around me felt colder than it should have. Like something died inside me on that rooftop. What the hell just happened? All I knew was, this wasn't about me being not welcome. This was about her not wanting her friends to know she married a man who built houses instead of litigated them. But something deeper was off, and I was about to find out just how deep her betrayal went. Because Vanessa didn't just throw me out of a party I paid for. She had been throwing me out of her life, piece by piece, for months, and I'd been too blind to notice. I sat in the truck outside her apartment for 20 minutes before I finally went in. The place was dark, untouched. Same wine glasses on the counter from 2 nights ago when she swore she had a study session. Same hoodie of mine folded on the couch she hadn't sat on in weeks. Her scent was barely here anymore. Like she'd already moved on emotionally. Just forgot to tell me. I packed slowly. Didn't really know what to take. My clothes, tools, a few books. Left the TV. I bought it, but I didn't want to carry it. Didn't want to carry anything heavy that night. My heart was already enough weight. At midnight, she came home. She didn't expect me to still be there. "Seriously?" she said, flicking the lights on like she owned the air I was breathing. "You're still here?" I turned to face her. Her lipstick was smudged, hair messy. "That dress didn't just smell like perfume." "You could have told me you didn't want me there," I said, quiet. "I didn't think you'd be stupid enough to show up," she snapped, throwing her clutch on the kitchen counter. "You've been acting like my ATM for 3 years, and now you suddenly want to be part of my life." I stared. "I thought I was your life." She rolled her eyes, laughed like I was some punchline. "You really thought a guy who installs drywall was going to sit beside me in courtrooms someday?" That laugh earned more than her words. "You used me," I said. 3 years of my life. My money. My time. My everything. "Oh my God, stop being so dramatic," she said, unzipping her heels. "I didn't use you. I just did what I had to do. You were convenient. Convenient. Like a loan. Like a piece of furniture. Like a warm body she didn't have to thank." I leaned against the wall, arms folded tight so they wouldn't shake. "Is there someone else?" She blinked. Pause. Too long of a pause. "No," she lied. I knew that pause. It was the same pause she gave me 2 months ago when I asked why she didn't come home after that group project. Same pause she gave when I saw a strange number on her call log saved under Molly. "You sure?" I said, "because you're not good at lying anymore." She looked at me then like she was deciding whether to come clean or double down. "I don't owe you anything," she said finally. "Not anymore." That was it. The final nail. I didn't scream. Didn't hit anything. Just nodded. Then I walked out. 2 hours later, I got a DM from a guy I'd never met. Name was Blake. "Hey, man. I didn't know she was married. Found out tonight. I'm sorry. I'm out." Attached was a screenshot of her texts. Her half-naked selfies. The message, "He's just my sponsor. Don't worry about him. Sponsor." That's what she called me. I laughed. Laughed until I was coughing in the front seat of my truck at 3 a.m. parked behind a gas station. It wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. It was erasure. Like I'd never mattered. She was a scoundrel in designer heels. And I was just the fool who built her runway. But I wasn't done yet. The next morning, I didn't go to work. I couldn't even look at a hammer without picturing her calling me a sponsor. I sat on a park bench with coffee that had gone cold before I even tasted it. Everything felt distant. People walking their dogs, kids playing, a couple kissing on a blanket. It all looked like another planet, one I didn't belong to anymore. She rewrote our marriage like I was never part of it. I spent 3 years waking up early, skipping vacations, taking overtime, saving every damn penny so she could chase her dream, so she could feel like she mattered in a world of suits and titles. I wanted her to win. I wanted her to feel powerful. And she paid me back by calling security on me at her graduation party, by sleeping with some Blake guy who had the nerve to message me like he was the victim. I opened that screenshot a dozen times, zoomed in on her words. He's just my sponsor. Each time it hit worse, like getting punched again while still bleeding from the first hit. Around noon, I drove back to the apartment. She wasn't there. I didn't need to guess where she was, but I needed proof. So I opened her laptop. Same password. She never changed it. And there it was, a folder on her desktop labeled Bar Prep. Inside, screenshots of messages with Blake, hotel reservations, photos, goddamn voice notes. In one, she was laughing. He thinks I'm at the library. I told him I'd be home late. Blake, you better make it worth it. Then another, I don't feel bad. He's just my backup plan. Like, he's a sweet guy. But come on, you're the only one who makes me feel alive. I closed the laptop. I should have felt rage, but I felt hollow. Like every memory we made had been chewed up and spit out. The picnic in North Carolina. The night we danced drunk in our tiny living room. The way she cried when I first surprised her with tuition money. All of it, fake. I packed the rest of my stuff in silence. The walls felt like they were watching me. I was halfway out the door when I noticed something. Her phone, on the kitchen counter, buzzing. Blake. I stared at it. Then I picked it up and answered. Hello, he said. Not tonight, bro, I said, my voice low. She's gonna be busy fixing her life. Click. 15 minutes later, I dropped the phone in a cup of water. Then I left. That night, I booked a room at a cheap motel with peeling paint and a cigarette smell that wouldn't die. But the silence there felt better than the noise back home. I didn't cry. I didn't sleep either. Just stared at the ceiling fan turning slow like it knew my whole world had stopped spinning. By sunrise, I knew one thing. I wasn't going back. Not just to the apartment, but to the version of me that begged for love from someone who couldn't spell the word loyalty. Vanessa wanted power. She got it. But she lost something bigger. She lost me. And I'm not easy to replace. 2 days passed. I didn't hear from her. Not a text, not a call, not even an I'm sorry typed out halfway and deleted. Just silence. She didn't ask where I went, didn't wonder if I was okay. I could have been dead in a ditch, and she'd probably just wonder if the rent got paid. On the third day, I went back, not to stay, just to grab one last box I forgot in the closet. When I walked in, she was there sitting on the couch with her legs crossed like a queen on a throne. She didn't earn glass of wine in her hand, phone in the other, scrolling like the world was at peace. Oh, she said without looking up. You're back. I didn't respond. She finally glanced at me. You look like S. Yeah, I said. Losing your entire marriage overnight does that? She rolled her eyes. Don't start. I'm not in the mood. I laughed. You're not in the mood? That's rich. You humiliated me. Lied for months. Called me your sponsor behind my back. And now you're not in the mood. She stood up, wine glass in hand. What do you want me to say? That I'm sorry. That I regret it? Because I don't. I had to survive. You were holding me back. I stepped closer. Holding you back? I funded your life. You'd still be slinging coffee at that cafe if I didn't take double shifts. Her face twisted. Exactly. That's what you don't get. I didn't want to be that girl anymore. The one who needed you. I wanted to be the woman who could walk into a room and be someone on her own. And you couldn't do that without screwing some other guy? She flinched. But not from guilt. From anger. You think I owe you my body just because you paid tuition? I think you owe me honesty. Loyalty. She took a sip of wine. You're not my father, Jason. You don't get to decide how I live. No. I was just your husband, I said. But that didn't seem to matter. She shrugged. It mattered until it didn't. And that's when I knew this wasn't about mistakes or miscommunication. She didn't love me anymore, and maybe she never did. I walked past her, grabbed my box, and turned to leave. You can keep the ring, she said behind me. Pawn it. Buy yourself a therapist or something. I stopped. Then I looked back at her. You really think you won? I said, That you leveled up? You think Blake's going to carry your bags through life the way I did? She smirked. He doesn't have to. I don't need saving anymore. I nodded. Then save yourself when it all burns down. And I left. Outside, the air felt colder, but I breathed deeper, because I finally understood something. Losing her wasn't the tragedy. Loving her was. The motel room felt less like a hiding place and more like a detox chamber. Every hour I spent there stripped away another layer of the illusion I'd built around her around us. I kept replaying every moment in reverse. How we met at that house party in Richmond, her smile when I offered her the last slice of pizza, the way she said, "You're not like the others." Damn right I wasn't. I was worse. I believed her. A week after I left, her sister, Emily, messaged me. We were never close. Vanessa always made sure of that, but Emily was decent. A little awkward, too honest for Vanessa's taste. Her message was simple. I didn't know. I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. I didn't reply, but it told me something. Vanessa's little mask was starting to slip in front of her own people. And then came the voicemail. I was at a laundromat when it hit. 3 minutes of her voice, shaky, slurred. Jason, I don't know what I was thinking. Blake left. He said he wasn't ready for anything serious. He was just fun, okay? I messed up. I did. I panicked. I felt trapped. I didn't mean to push you away like that. I don't know. You were always there. And maybe I took that for granted. Please call me. Click. I didn't call. The next day, I got another one. More tears. More confessions. She said she missed the way I smelled, the way I used to make pancakes on Sundays. That Blake wasn't a real man, that I was the only one who ever really saw her. I laughed so loud the woman folding towels across from me flinched. Sorry, I muttered, but I wasn't, because it wasn't funny in a kind of way. It was funny in a God, how low can she go kind of way. 2 days after that, she showed up at the job site. I was laying bricks, sun beating down on my back, music low in my earbuds. I turned and there she was. Full makeup, sunglasses, heels in the mud like she didn't care if they got ruined. Jason, she said. I didn't move, didn't flinch. She stepped closer. Can we talk? My foreman raised an eyebrow. I nodded once. Break. We stepped off to the side. She looked thinner, maybe from stress, maybe from guilt. You blocked me, she said. Didn't want to hear more lies, I replied. I'm not lying now. Then why are you here? She hesitated. Because I made a mistake. A huge one. I chose something shiny over something solid. And now I see what I lost. I stared at her. You didn't lose me. You threw me out at a party I paid for. You humiliated me in front of your friends. Your father laughed in my face like I was the clown in your little circus. Tears welled up in her eyes. I know. I was scared. I thought if I could just cut you out fast, clean, maybe I wouldn't feel the guilt. You don't feel guilt, I said. You feel abandonment. Blake left. So now you're circling back to the man you thought would always be there. Her lips trembled. I still love you. No, I said. You don't love me. You love what I gave you. Stability, money, time, safety. And now you want it again because the party's over and you're hungover. Silence. She didn't argue. Because I was right. You can't come back, I said. Not this time. She looked down. So that's it. That was it the moment you said, he doesn't belong here. She walked away slowly, heels sinking in the mud like they were dragging her down. And for the first time in weeks, I felt light. The next morning, I woke up with a strange stillness in my chest. Not peace, not happiness, but quiet. No racing thoughts. No images of her with him. Just me in a borrowed twin bed at the back of a coworker's house, sunlight creeping through dusty blinds. I sat up and realized something simple but sharp. This was the first day in years that I wasn't waiting on Vanessa. Not waiting on her to come home. To call. To love me, right? And I didn't miss her. That voicemail she left at midnight? Deleted. The flowers she sent to the site the next day? Dumped behind the building before the card was even opened. I was done. A week later, Emily called again. This time I answered. She's spiraling, she said. I think she thought you'd just take her back. I stayed quiet. She told Mom you were cruel. That you abandoned her after everything she gave up for you. I laughed. She gave up me for Blake. What more does she want? Emily sighed. You were the only person who ever showed up for her. But she never knew how to receive that without stepping on it. I didn't have much to say to that. She was right. But knowing that didn't change the scar. I got a lawyer. Simple divorce paperwork. Nothing dramatic. I didn't want revenge. I didn't need half of anything. I just wanted freedom. She refused to sign it first. Claimed she was still confused. Said we should go to counseling. That we owed it to ourselves. I told her we already did the hard work. I carried the weight for 3 years. She carried the betrayal for 6 months. That was the balance. Then she signed. No heart emoji at the end of her name this time. No love always. Just Vanessa. Weeks passed. I got my own place. Just a one-bedroom above a mechanic shop, but it felt like a palace. I bought a couch that didn't sag in the middle and a coffee table that still had the tag on it. I stopped checking her social media. Started eating better. Sleeping longer. One afternoon, while cleaning out an old box, I found our wedding photo. She was laughing, head tilted toward mine. I was looking straight at her, smiling like I'd won the lottery. I stared at it for a long time. Then I lit a match and watched it curl into ash in the sink. It didn't hurt. Not anymore. Because the man in that photo, he was gone. But the man I was now, he knew better. 3 months later, I saw her again. It was at a small coffee shop on the west side. The one with the chipped red stools and the best damn cinnamon rolls in town. I went there every Sunday morning now, like a ritual. My quiet corner of the world. She walked in wearing oversized sunglasses. Her hair pulled back, but I knew that posture. That self-important strut she used to call confidence, even when it was covering panic. She didn't see me at first. She was with someone, some new guy. Too young, maybe mid-20s, designer sneakers. That casual arrogance that screams money but not substance. They sat down, and I couldn't help but watch for a second. She laughed too loud. She leaned in too far, and when she thought he wasn't looking, she looked bored. I almost pitied her. Almost. But pity is a luxury you give someone who tried. She didn't. She destroyed, then pretended she was the one left broken. I turned back to my coffee, flipped the page in my book, and left without looking back. That was the moment I knew I was truly done. Not angry, not sad, not bruised, just done. People say time heals. They're wrong. Time just makes the wound visible in a different light, and in that new light, you see things clearer. Like how love can rot when it's planted in someone who doesn't know how to water it. Like how loyalty becomes a weakness when it's given to someone who sees it as control. A few weeks after that, I got a call from her mother. I didn't answer. Then a voicemail. Jason, I don't know what's going on between you two, and maybe it's not my place, but Vanessa's not doing well. She's been distant. Cold says she's fine, but I don't know. You were the best thing that ever happened to her. I thought you should know. I didn't call back because none of that was my responsibility anymore. I gave her the best parts of me. She used them as leverage, then traded them for sparkles. And now I was the one who finally had peace. It came slow. Not like a sunrise. More like a flicker that refused to die. I started saying yes to things I used to skip. Joined a boxing gym. Took a weekend trip alone. Bought a motorcycle I always told myself was too impractical. Started seeing someone too. Her name was Claire. Soft-spoken, sharp eyes, quiet strength. She didn't ask about my past much. Just met me where I was and stayed consistent. And I told her everything. Not right away, but when it mattered. She listened. Didn't flinch when I said the ugliest parts. Didn't try to fix me, just held the space. And for the first time since Vanessa told that security guard I didn't belong, I felt like I did. Not in her world. Not in some illusion, but in mine, and it was enough. It's strange how life folds back into place when you stop chasing the wrong corners. I used to think closure would come in some dramatic way, like a confrontation, a breakdown, maybe even an apology, but it didn't. Closure came in the quiet. It came the night I deleted her number without hesitation. It came the day I realized I hadn't thought about her for a whole morning. It came when I stopped needing answers because the truth was already plain. She betrayed me. She used me and I let her for too long, but I also walked away. I chose myself, finally. And maybe that's the most powerful thing a man can do when everything inside him is screaming to hold on. I'm not angry anymore. Not at her. Not even at myself. I learned that love without respect is just submission. That being loyal to someone who sees you as a tool will only ever drain you dry. That sacrifice, when unappreciated, becomes fuel for resentment. And now, when I look in the mirror, I see a man I actually respect. I didn't get revenge. I didn't ruin her life. I didn't need to. She'll spend the rest of hers looking for someone to make her feel whole again. And I hope one day she realizes it was never about who she was with. It was about who she refused to become. If you're reading this, if you're where I was, let me say this. Walk away. Not for pride. Not for ego. Walk away because no one who truly loves you will ever make you feel disposable. You don't need to burn her world down. Just rebuild yours, brick by brick, and make damn sure no one gets in unless they're worthy. I funded her dream. Now I'm finally building mine. Alone. Stronger. Wiser. And this time, I belong here.